Get them out. Help me move the cylinder into the compressor. Bring it here, bring it here.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. The Shape of Water, the new film by Guillermo Del Toro, opens in the UK tomorrow, Wednesday. As you probably know, I'm a huge Guillermo Del Toro fan, and the film has done brilliantly. It's been nominated for a number of Academy Awards. I think it's 13 altogether. It stars Sally Hawkins, who is terrific in the film, so I thought I'd use this as an excuse to give you my top 5 Sally Hawkins films. So at number 5, Happy Go Lucky, arguably Mike Leigh's most upbeat film. Now, Sally Hawkins has already worked with Mike Leigh in things like All or Nothing and Vera Drake, but this was the film that really put her centre stage. She's brilliant as the unerringly positive teacher who remains forward-looking in every circumstance, even when faced with the driving instructor from hell. En raha, Poppy, en raha.
Very well. On your head be it.
Yeah, okie dokie.
At number 4, a film you may not have seen because it slipped under some people's radar, Maudie, based on the true story of somebody wrestling with arthritis who goes on to become a really, really well-loved and respected folk artist. It's one of those things that could have tipped over into whimsy, but it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because Sally Hawkins keeps it grounded firmly at all times.
You can do much better than me.
Done everything I want with you, Ev. Everything.
On to number 3, and it's a double bill of Paddington and Paddington 2. I mean, the fact is, we were all worried that the Paddington movies weren't going to be any good. Some of us who grew up watching the animations that were voiced by Michael Hordern thought, you can't improve on that. And yet somehow both Paddington and Paddington 2 did. They're charming, wonderful films that fill you with a love of life and make you think that people are really decent. And the most decent person in those films is absolutely Sally Hawkins, Mrs. Brown.
That all seems pretty secure. Oh, hello, Phoenix.
Mary.
Didn't hear you come in.
And on to number 2, and the movie which some of you may have thought would be at number 1, Guillermo Del Toro's The Shape of Water. Sally Hawkins is one of those 13 Oscar nominations. She's nominated for Best Lead Actress. She was nominated before for Supporting Actress for her role in Blue Jasmine. She really holds the film together. It's a wordless performance, but she has a face that speaks 1,000 words. And the film is strange and weird and wonderful, and at times it's an odd fantasy, and at other times it's a completely recognisable romance. It is, in essence, Splash meets The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I love both those films, and I love Shape of Water. Which brings me to the number 1 spot, my favourite Sally Hawkins film. It is, of course, made in Dagenham, based on the true story of the 1968 Ford Dagenham strike. Sally Hawkins plays a central character who starts off as a sewing machinist and who goes on to become, well, effectively the voice of the revolution. It's one of those films which, like Pride, takes a true story which it retells and sprinkles just enough fairy dust over it to make it cinematic and magical. The film later on became a stage musical and actually did very well with Gemma Arterton in the lead role. But for me, that lead will always be completely associated with Sally Hawkins because she carries that film so brilliantly. I mean, it's a really great film. It's a shame more people didn't see it, but it has sort of earned a cult following over the years. And for me, it's Sally Hawkins at her best.
Rights, not privileges. It's that easy. It really bloody is.
So there we are, my Sally Hawkins top 5. At 5, Happy Go Lucky. At 4, Maudie. At 3, Paddington and Paddington 2. 2, Shape of Water. And number 1, Made in Dagenham. Now, I'm sure there are Sally Hawkins films that I've overlooked that you love. Tell me what I've missed out. What's your favourite Sally Hawkins film?